Hey guys, DELAET here for another episode of Pickup Daily. I'm here at the J. Paul Getty Museum, and it's a beautiful, beautiful day. We've got ourselves a whole lot of white light business that this place was designed to create. Today I wanted to talk about unconditionally loving. You know, sometimes some people are harder to work with than other times. Sometimes their needs and their desires are not communicated in useful ways, and sometimes they are, and we just don't want to hear them because we've got our own needs and desires in the way, and we have to work with those things in intelligent ways that aren't going to injure our future relationships because we're being selfish assholes. So, today I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about having the balance between the sacrificing for somebody else's needs, wants, loves, and desires, and setting boundaries so that you don't get your needs, wants, and desires trampled on. It's kind of a delicate balance, and I think the more that you feel like you need from another person, the harder it is because there's more of that stuff to manage. The more autonomous you are, the less you need from somebody else, the less boundaries you have to set, and the more fluid you can be. The more fluid you can be, the less grasping you can be, and the less suffering you ultimately experience because your expectations are less specific. Obviously, you can't let people treat you like shit because then they feel like the need to do that in the future without having boundaries. You're going to have a difficult time dealing with their, some people will just take and take and take, and then they'll take more the more you let them. And so you gotta sort of set things on that. But I want to talk to you a little bit later about how to set boundaries so that you don't have to try to control someone else's behavior. And I think that's really the crux of dealing with other people in a way that's loving and in a way that doesn't get self-hurt every time somebody crosses the line because of their humanity. Anyways, I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm going to roll through a couple of these buildings and see what we have to offer art-wise. Right, so anyway, so I'm talking about boundary setting, right? We got balance between setting boundaries with people and not letting them walk all over you so that they can, taking advantage of who you are, what you own, whatever, and what you have to offer, and then not setting boundaries with people so you're not grasping and releasing yourself from a whole lot of suffering. So the concept of grasping and suffering in a large, bird's eye view is that the more you want or expect or put limits on how people respond to you, the more often you're going to be disappointed by their behavior and their actions and their selfish ways, etc., right? And so the less restrictions that you put on other people, the less likely you are to get disappointed, right? So lower your expectations, you're going to lower your disappointment factor when they inevitably don't do what you think they ought to. However, there's a certain level where if you're sacrificing too much and you're like getting walked over, then you're not going to be able to give effectively when they're taking too much of your resources, when you give them. Yeah, so it's important to understand that when we have a lot to give out, we're not sacrificing anything that's not extra, then we can feel free to let people do whatever the fuck they want, because that gives us more of a chance to give without taking from us, and everybody gets served that way with very little pain.